We move now from one Trump video that he's released to another. And this one, honestly, may be the most dangerous or one of the most dangerous videos he's released, at least in a very long time. And what he's doing here is setting up the narrative, the story, the fictional story of 2024 being stolen from him. And he's starting on that now, telling his followers that the election's being stolen in 2024. He lied about 2020. Even he lied about stuff in 2016, saying that he actually should have won the popular vote. But he lied even more in 2020. And now he's well in advance setting up lies for 2024, saying that somehow there's some cheating going on. Prosecutors are trying to steal the election from MAGA. Dangerous stuff. Take a look at this.
The radical left Democrats are using their prosecutors to try and steal another election. There's never been a time like this in the history of our country. Presidential elections are sacred. We cannot let them be stolen. We can't let any elections be stolen. The only candidate they don't want to run against is Trump, me.
It's like he was reading it off his teleprompter and saw Trump, and he was like, oh, me, Trump, me.
Despite their disinformation campaign to the contrary, what they do is they pick out the one that they think is going to be the toughest, and they say, that's the one we want to run against. They always say it. They say it for governorships, for the Senate, and for the president. But they don't.
What does that even mean? They pick the Democrats pick a running mate that they think would be the hardest to beat? What?
They're all about misinformation and disinformation. I beat them twice, did much better the second time.
He won once in 2016, not twice.
And they don't want to do it again. It will be a lot tougher for them to cheat and rig the election like they did in 2020. And that's why they're using their city, state, and federal prosecutors. They are using them like has never happened before in our country. Republicans in Congress are watching closely. The DOJ should stop. We have to get our country back. The DOJ, the FBI, the local prosecutors should all stop.
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of criminals out there who wish they could end their legal troubles by just saying, stop. To all who are trying to hold me accountable for my wrongdoing, stop now. It is so wild. And he's using the fact that he's being investigated for trying to overthrow our democratic process, the Stormy Daniels thing, possible business stuff, the documents case, as a justification to say something unfair is going on in 2024. And people are going to buy into it. There's no evidence that prosecutors are acting improperly. There's no evidence that this is politically motivated. There is evidence to the actions that Trump partook in. And it doesn't matter. People will still believe that Trump's the hero and he's being wronged. He's the victim and this election is being stolen from him. This time it's not big, massive dumps, big dumps, as Trump said, of fraudulent ballots, as they believe, without evidence. But instead, it is the prosecutor's actions in holding Trump accountable for his possible criminality. And Trump knows that he's lying, just like how he knew he was lying in 2020. And we know that further reporting has been done on a story we talked about previously, revealing that before the phone call to Brad Raffensperger, Secretary of State of Georgia, from Trump, where he's asking Brad Raffensperger to find 11,780 votes and just make Trump the winner. Before that phone call, before he started pressuring Brad Raffensperger, or at least on that call, to overturn the election results in Georgia, he paid researchers to go look into the election results, try to find voter fraud, try to find proof that the election was stolen, and he couldn't do it. And the researchers didn't find that the election was stolen because it wasn't. Even the people that he had go out and look into these things, look into these claims, try to prove that the election was stolen, couldn't find evidence of it because it doesn't exist. There wasn't widespread voter fraud. And he still told all those lies and tried to pressure Brad Raffensperger into overturning the election results. So he knew he was lying then. He knows he's lying about the prosecutors now. He knows what he's done, and that if you actually believe, as they purport to in Law and Order, this is what should happen, he'll tell these lies and people will believe it deeply. Now, what's wild, and I want to show you this from the Washington Post. A poll was done by CNN revealing that while 63% of Republicans and Republican-leaning independents believe that Biden's election win was illegitimate, half of them recognize that is just a suspicion. That is not based on evidence. So in this situation, with Trump saying the thing about prosecutors, it's going to work because it works even when people will admit that they don't actually have evidence for their belief that Biden's election was illegitimate. So take a look at this chart for our video viewers on screen. 63% of Republicans and GOP-leaning independents believe that Biden's election win was illegitimate. But 30% say, I believe it was illegitimate, but that's just based on suspicion. That's suspicion only. 33% say they have solid evidence. I would love to see what they mean by solid evidence. If they mean they heard it somewhere, then yeah, I'm sure they do. But so half recognize they don't have solid evidence. Now, the question is, and let me know, Luke P. Beasley on Twitter, which one you think is worse. Believing the election was stolen based on solid evidence when there is no solid evidence? So what is that? Where is that belief coming from? Or recognizing you don't have evidence and still believing it? But either way, this is yet another example that his followers will believe all the actions of prosecutors are just trying to steal the election from dear, beloved Trump, and it's not actually accountability for his wrongdoing. Pretty wild stuff. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get the full bonus show every single Saturday, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley. Link in the description.